Brakatah Yahweh, Brakatah Yahweh Shah, Brakatah Yahweh, Brakatah Yahweh Shah, Brakatah Yahweh, Brakatah Yahweh Shah, Call Halal Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah Bashem Rakha Kadash. Double honors to our elders and apostles, a great millstone. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered across the four winds. It's your brother Yakar Aben back with another lesson. Just going into Israel, you know, the Lord's people, Israel, you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you know, are rebellious people. You know, the Lord, of time and time and time again, you know, the Heavenly Father has, you know, corrected us, but yet, you know, we won't receive correction. Well, 2/3, you know, 2/3 won't receive correction, you know, because in these last days, you know, according to Ezekiel chapter 37, you know, that the dry bones will wake up and we would understand who we are and call upon the names, but, you know, you're just rebellious. This is, we get into it. This is Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 1. It says, the vision of Isaiah, the son of Amos, which he saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem in the days of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Judah. Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth, for the Lord Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shah, the Lord's name is Yahweh, which the world ignorantly calls Lord, and his son's name is Yahweh Shah, which means he is the deliverer. Lord means, or Yahweh means he is, or the existing one, and Yahweh Shah means he is the deliverer. It says, hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth, for the Lord Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shah have spoken. I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me. So the Lord is saying, you know, he gave Israel, his only begotten Israel, laws, statutes, and commandments. You know, he nourished us. He gave us an understanding on, you know, our understanding on how the world should be ran, how, you know, our brothers should be treated. You know, he gave us laws, statutes, and commandments to make us, you know, to show our wisdom amongst the other nations. You know, and it says, and they have rebelled against me, because the Lord's children don't, you know, they don't want to listen. They do not want to listen. It's like, it says, the ox know of his owner, and the ass his master's crib, but Israel doth not know. My people doth not consider. And yeah, I mean, if you look out into the world, you understand that you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans live in deplorable conditions. You know, all the other nations are always, you know, abusing you, you know, using you, taking your money, and treating you like trash. You know, and essentially, yeah, treating you as if you are trash. You know, you've been in slavery, you've been in hardcore captivity, you've had, you know, they do these predatory lendings on you where you go and borrow some money, and then shit, the interest rate is out the roof. You know, they sell you cars that, you know, 25% interest rate. They do, you know, all of these different things to you primarily. Yeah, the other nations, you know, they get some of that, but you primarily. Like, you know, the redlining of the houses, where it was illegal for you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans to be able to buy homes. You know, government subsidied homes. You know, they come into your communities. They feed you trash food. You know, where you live. You got corner stores where the other nations come in and they give you garbage, and they mark it up. You know, they're taking food stamps and shit, and going to Sam's and then bringing the same shit that they're getting free from the government and sell it to you. You know, in your communities, you don't have fresh vegetables, none of that. But these things the Heavenly Father, has done to you for your disobedience, but you don't even consider that you're those people. This is Isaiah chapter 1 and 4. It says, a sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters. They have forsaken the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua. They have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger. They are gone away backward. And that's just by your behavior. Look at what they so-called black culture. I mean, look at this shit. You got women twerking and, wearing clothes that shit are not fit to be seen anywhere. I mean, some of the stuff that you see going to Walmart or going to the corner store, or some of the clothes that the black woman, the Israelite woman wears is just disgraceful. The other nations are laughing at us because our women are just out of there, They're loud, rebellious, and walking around naked, and can't nobody tell them shit. Just destroyed. But the Heavenly Father said these things would happen. And the Lord said, this is Isaiah 1 and 5, it says, why should you be stricken anymore? You will revolt more and more. The whole head is sick and the whole heart faint. It's like, look at the things that our people have been through. Look at the things that our people as Israelites have been through, the curses of Deuteronomy chapter 28. All of the curses have fell upon us. And if you can't see that, if you can't see that we are those people, then you're under strong delusion. You're under strong delusion because, you can see it. But we're getting worse and worse and worse. This is a people that is destroyed. And the only thing that, the only way to fix it is fire. They need to be burned up, They need to be burned up. The only way to fix it is fire, This is it says Isaiah 1 and 5. It says, why should you be stricken anymore? You will revolt more and more. The whole head is sick and the whole heart faint. Like it says, just look at the culture. It's getting worse and worse and worse. Like, for instance, they big up these women that have, horrible past. And then they set them up as, the voice of you people. It's really disgusting. They big up strippers, prostitutes, thieves, as leaders of the community, celebrities. They give them money and they big them up. And then these are what our young children are looking at as success. The whole heart is faint and the whole head is sick. It says, from the sole of the foot even unto the head, there is no soundness in it, but wounds and bruises and putrefying sores. They have not been closed, neither bound up, neither mollified with ointment. Yeah, that is black culture. The whole head is sick. It's wounds and bruises. But, the reason that this happened is because we moved the Most High to anger. This is Baruch chapter 4 and verse 6. It says, you were sold to the nations, not for your destruction, but because you moved the Most High to wrath, and you were delivered unto your enemies. Like, still to this day, you don't even realize that you have enemies. You don't even realize it. We're in the land of our captivity under our oppressors, but yet we want to have equal rights with the people that the Lord sent to oppress us. It doesn't even make sense. But, strong delusion. It says, Baruch 4 and 7, for ye have provoked him that made you by sacrificing unto devils and not to the Most High. And that's the beginning of falling away from your power, Salakia. Idol worship is the beginning of falling away. Let me get that. What is that? Idol worship is like unto the sin of witchcraft. Yeah. But yeah. So it says, for you provoked him that made you by sacrificing unto devils and not to the Most High. You have forgotten the everlasting power that brought you up, and have grieved Jerusalem that nursed you. So, you know, you Israelites have forgotten your power. You've forgotten that you were called by his name. You know, you were called by the Most High's name, Yasha Allah. He's a prince of the power. You know, the power being Yahweh. But, you know, these are the things that, I mean, you know, this is what we have come to. We have been brought low. We have been brought very low because we provoked our power to anger. You know, like it says in Isaiah, you know, he nursed us up. He gave us laws, statutes, and commandments, but yet we chose not to follow him. So, and he punishes us over and over, and we just get worse and worse and worse and worse. You know, spiritual fornication. You know, this is Jeremiah. This is just a quick hit, but this is Jeremiah chapter 3 and verse 1. It says, they say, if a man put away his wife, and she go from him and become another man's, shall he return unto her? Shall not that land be greatly polluted? But thou hast played the harlot with many lovers. Yet return again to me, saith the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So, you know, this is a simile. The Lord is saying, you know, if a man has a wife and then she goes away and she lays up with another man, you know, isn't she going to be greatly polluted? You know, because she's laying with another man while her husband was alive. Okay, so the Lord is saying, but look at y'all. You know, y'all being Israelites have worshiped these other idols. Y'all taken on these other philosophies. Y'all played the harlot with many lovers. Y'all into Christianity. Y'all into Buddhism. Y'all into Islam. Y'all into Catholicism. Y'all into all of this other shit. Y'all into witchcraft. Y'all into Satanism. All of this fucking bullshit y'all are into. But the Lord is saying, look, if you turn back to me, I'll accept you. But you're a filthy whore because all of these different things that you are worshiping. You know, the Lord is very angry with his people. And like I said before, the only thing that, let's get it. Well, 2/3 are going to die. 2/3 are going to die. You know, let's get that. Slacking. Con. 13, Slakia. This is Zechariah chapter 13 and verse 8. It says, and it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the 3rd part shall be left therein. And I will bring the 3rd part through the fire, and refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them, and I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Lord is my power. Okay, so 1/3 is going to make it through the fire. But what about that 2/3? What's going to happen to them? What's going to happen to that 2/3 that have to be cut off and die? This is kind. This is Ezekiel chapter 22 and verse 19. It says, thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua power, because you are all become dross. Behold, therefore I will gather you in the midst of Jerusalem, as they gather silver and brass and iron and lead and tin into the midst of the furnace to blow the fire upon it, to melt it, so will I gather you in mine anger and in my fury, and I will leave you there and melt you. Yeah, I will gather you and blow upon you in the fire of my wrath, and ye shall be melted in the midst thereof. As silver is melted in the midst of the furnace, so shall ye be melted thereof, and ye shall know that I, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, have poured out my fury upon you. So that's okay. Like I said, 2/3 are gonna be cut off and die, and this is how they're gonna get it. That's in the land of North America. That's in America, North America. This is, yeah, 2 parts are gonna be cut off and die, according to Zechariah chapter 13, and this is how it's gonna happen. So, you know, the Lord is not playing. You know, like I said, the whole head is sick, and the only way to fix this is by destruction. The only way to fix it is by destruction. You know, that's the only way, because it's too far gone. Like I said, the whole head is sick. The Lord has, he has punished you time and time and time and time again, but you still get worse and worse and worse and worse. So, the only way that it's going to be rectified is you gotta be melted. You gotta be melted, and I can't wait. Can't wait to that day to where all of you moles, all of you degenerates can't wait until you are melted. With that being said, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem, Ruach HaKodesh. Double honors to our elders, apostles, of Great Millstone. Peace and salutation to the hopeful elect. Hopefully this lesson is edifying. Shalom. Kwam Yashala.